Greetings, YouTube. Poor lighting, yada, 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 because the cat's here. So, two women were in a Montana town having a conversation with each other. A border patrol agent overheard them talking and detained them. Now, can you imagine why the border patrol agent detained these two women who were having a conversation in a Montana town? That's right, they were speaking Spanish. So he made the assumption that because these two women were speaking Spanish, that they were not American citizens, did not have green cards, and were not here as documented, visitors or immigrants. The two women in question are both Americans born in America, specifically Texas and California. And they were having a conversation in Spanish with each other because they both come from Spanish-speaking families. And they wanted to speak to each other in Spanish, which last time I checked wasn't illegal. So this won't surprise you when you find out that there is a lawsuit, and the ACLU is getting involved. And the reality is that our border patrol agents are rife with racism because America is rife with racism. America is a nation founded on genocide, slavery, and white supremacy, and that has never changed. And border patrol agents have some really broad powers if you're within 100 miles of a border. I live in New Hampshire. That covers a lot of my state. I mean, a lot of my state's within 100 miles of the border. Okay, we're a narrow, pointy state with a narrow end up top. The big chunk of my state is covered by that 100-mile section, which has always disturbed me to no end, that I can just be traveling through northern New Hampshire and be stopped by a border patrol agent just because they want to. I think they should have broad power, say, within the first 10 miles near a border, not 100. A little bit of overreach on that one, folks. I'd love to see the negotiations that were involved in that particular policy. How many bribes were spread around, how many BJs were given, because somebody did a whole lot of work to make sure that they had a lot of power within 100 miles of the border. So like I said, there's a lawsuit going on and it's being investigated. And I have to give kudos to the person that wrote this little blurb, because there is a line in here that is the driest damn thing I have ever read. It makes the Sahara look like a beach resort. All right? I'm going to build up to it. There's a paragraph before it. And I'll see if you can figure out which line it is. In May, the CBP told NBC News in a statement the incident was being reviewed to make sure appropriate policies were followed. Agents have broader authority when operating within 100 miles of the U.S. border, such as by putting up checkpoints and questioning people in their vehicles about their citizenship. But CBP policy also says agents cannot stop or detain someone solely on their race or ethnicity. Montana borders Canada. Daniela Silva really deserves a raise for that line. Montana borders Canada. Made me smile so much when I read this article. So what a shocker. There are white supremacists and racists in the law enforcement. Not that we've ever seen that before now, have we? So I hope that this lawsuit put forth by these two women is successful. And I really hope that they can take all that money right out of this agent's personal retirement fund and account. Because this should be taken. We need to go after the racists themselves. If you just take this money out of the tax dollars of the American people, which is what's going to happen, these women deserve that money. They were profiled. They were detained for no reason for speaking Spanish. And as a reminder, There is no official language in America. Put that in your white supremacist pipe and smoke it. But I think we need to go after the people themselves. We need to financially hurt the racists and the white supremacists. We need to make sure that they understand that their actions have consequences that will adversely affect them. Not just in their loss of a job, maybe, because Fox News will hire this guy in a heartbeat. No, we need to go after them financially. We need to make sure they understand that white supremacy will not be rewarded and that will possess a penalty. Of course, that's not going to happen. These two men are going to sue, they're going to win, and they're going to get a bunch of tax dollars, which they deserve. This guy, if we're lucky, will get fired. If we're not, he'll get reprimanded, he'll float a desk bit for a while, then they just move him to another section of the border where he can harass some other people on the Canadian border for speaking Spanish.